Hey everybody, happy Friday, happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well. This is going to be a short video. I've said that many times. I just want to read on two things. One, I want to read on depression. That's going to be easy, short subject. The other one I'm going to read on long COVID, another short subject. I read on that yesterday, but I only pulled 3 cards. I was watching PBS last night, and they had a whole thing on long COVID, so I want to go into it a little bit deeper. But let's go back to John Fetterman. That guy's a giant of a human being, and I'm not just saying this because he's taller than me. So he reportedly checked himself into Walter Reed for depression. Now, he had a stroke, so I don't know if he suffered from depression before the stroke happened or after the stroke. We tend to get so frustrated when our lives change, when we can't remember a word that we should know. As we get older, we kind of lose things, but we also gain things. But we don't look at that. We don't look at what we're gaining. We look at, how come I can't remember the word radish or something, So I think when John Fetterman checked himself into Walter Reed, I went, this is going to change the makeup of how government agencies are going to look at mental health. Not saying depression is mental health or not. I haven't studied it. So, but I just feel like it's going to change things. So I wanted to look at that. And also long COVID, because I think they're related in some ways. Long COVID is actually affecting the organs in the body. However, from the outside looking in, people go, oh, you're just imagining these symptoms because they're not showing up as signs. So we can't see them outwardly like a stop sign, right? A symptom is inside, so you're feeling this symptom, but we can't see it from the outside. So, and you have how many of them? Maybe you're crazy, right? So I think those go hand in hand. And I'm hoping that we get a better grip on this. I'm hoping we get a better understanding and find a little bit of compassion. Okay, a lot more compassion for, I don't want to say mental illness, but I just did. For the mental, I hear the word acuity, that may not jive with your mental acuity. We all have abilities that are beyond what we know. Some people say that's crazy. Some people say it's really crazy. Anyway, let's take a look at it. And this is for entertainment only, right? I mean, just to spark an idea, to maybe put this out in the universe. Speaking of universes, I want to thank you all for, in the comments, people were talking about areas on the planet that needed some love and light and help sent. And people were talking about New Zealand. That I didn't mention with the list of things going on the world. So yeah, that's a big one. I still haven't seen any pictures, so maybe, you know, but they had like 100-mile-an-hour winds and floods, typhoons in New Zealand. So anyway, all right, let's just take a look at, I'm going to use my Galactic Heritage cards, because what we perceive as depression on this plane of existence may be different than what a higher source, a different vibrational take on this would be. So I'm just going to pull 3 cards from this, and let's see what I get. Depression. What can you share with us about how we deal with depression? Take a pill. No, that's not what they said. Although they did say that, because I wouldn't have said it. My sister-in-law takes happy pills, and it's just an imbalance. She goes, my brother calls them crazy pills. My sister-in-law calls them happy pills, but they're just, she says it just rebalances her chemicals a little bit. Okay, so yeah. All right, let's take a look at what these cards have. Spiritual commitment with depression. And this is in the future, Vega in the future. So when we're thinking about certainly in the future, we're going to have a much more spiritual way of looking at depression and how it affects people. And that's in the future. And I was thinking just now, how does that affect somebody who is suffering right now from depression? And it feels like it's to take it away from you and try to focus on this spiritual commitment, this spiritual connection. It feels like it. I don't know if that's true or not. So, okay. Second card. Complete surrender. Lyra, the future. Let me see what the other one is. Oh, okay. All of them are in the future. So maybe we don't have a handle on it today. But complete surrender. And it's next to the spiritual commitment. But it feels like with this card, it's like, stop beating yourself up over things that are affecting you, affecting us. I mean, I do that a lot. Something will like hit me, and I'm just like, and I don't let it go. I don't let it go. And if I just surrender to, I'm not perfect. Did I just say that? What? But if I just surrender to that, to whatever it is, just go, this is who I am, this is where I am. Is that going to help? Well, according to these cards, yeah. And surrender, and then go to that spiritual place, the spiritual commitment. The next card is true compassion. Orion light, this is future. And when I pull this card, this true compassion, and it's in the future, it's like we don't understand what true compassion is yet. complete love, digging into the 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 faults that we have and embracing them and loving them and being kind to ourselves. And from that love, which is going to be really hard to love your faults, to love your depression. Oh, it's horrific. But because you're loving that part, that love then spreads out to the whole. If you hate that part of yourself, that hate spreads out to the whole. Spiritual commitment, complete surrender, true compassion. Wow, big. This deck has, they look so simple and they get so deep. All right, let's look at, I'm going to look at long COVID, and then the last thing I'm going to look at is the mental health in the future, and it's how we're going to deal with that in the coming years. It's not like a light switch that's going to switch on. All right, but let's look at long COVID. There are a group of people who are studying long COVID, which is good news. In my reading yesterday, I did say that there was new funds coming, I think. I hardly remember past readings. But there is over $1 billion. Is that what it says? The National Institute of Health has $1 billion program looking into long COVID. There's over 200 reported symptoms, not signs, but symptoms, what we feel inside associated with long COVID, affecting virtually every organ in the body. Yikes. So when you go, my heart hurts, and the doctor goes, your heart doesn't hurt. Your heart has no nerves, so it can't feel pain. You can tell him, you're crazy, doctor. Because he's probably going, you're making this up. It's psychosomatic. It is not. It is not. So they really don't, they don't have a cure for this. They do have symptom management of it. But let's just take a look. That's, as I cut the deck and I'm talking, that's what I get. The 10 of Wands, the long road, the heavy burden. Yeah, so long COVID. And when I'm hearing this, it's just not the U.S. studying this. There's other nations that are really looking into it. And wouldn't it be great if we could get all those databases, all these nations working together instead of working separately? And maybe they do share information. But not in the beginning, and certainly not with China. Okay, long COVID. Let's just take a look at that within 2 years. Time frame, long COVID within 2 years. Talk to me about long COVID. What can we know about long COVID within 2 years? Some of these people that they interviewed on PBS, they're going, I can't work, I can't get out of my house, so dizzy, so out of breath. And Biden is saying it's over. It's not. And what are we doing with these people who find themselves that they're running out of money? They're not going to be able to pay their mortgage or rent. Now, if they have a mortgage, then they can sell, but then where do they go? And if they have rent, it's even worse because they're just on the street. So, a little true compassion, we would take them into our homes as family members. What about strangers? Oh, that's another tricky one, isn't it? Okay, long COVID. 2 years. What do we need to know? Tower. Yikes. So, well, let's just keep going because I'm going, oh, is this coming up? Is this going to be a tower moment coming up? Or is the tower moment, have we already had the tower moment and now there is something new coming our way? Looks like money is going to be poured into it. So with the tower moment, there is always sudden change, and then there is a rebuilding. And here is the rebuilding card. And here is Joe Biden's card at the base. In the past, does it get any better than that? It's sadness. Sadness, sadness, sadness. Head in the hands. Oh my God. Oh my God, is this ever going to go? That's in the past. At the top of the reading, well, it didn't get any better. We're staying up at night. We're worried. We're losing people. In the potential near future, we're not moving anywhere. We're sitting around, we're looking at those 3 of Wands. We're saying, is this the right choice? Is this the right choice? So there's choices. There's passion in that fire, but there's no movement in this card. He's just sitting around doing this. All right. Internal position with this long COVID 2 years. 2 of Wands. Now this is a decision that needs to be made, and it's a world decision as well. External position is judgment. Are we going to get a handle on this, or are we just going to keep losing people? Is somebody being judged? Is somebody being called up to a higher order to solve this, to get this taken care of? Yes, justice. Hopes and fears, and the final outcome, illusion, delusion, 7 of Cups. There's a lot of choices that are going to be made, and the clarification is the Empress, giving birth to something new, comes from that Tower card, and a new emotional start. So it's not going to be fixed in 2 years, according to these cards. We are making progress with it. We are giving birth to something new with the Empress card and the Ace of Cups, a new emotional start. There is a lot of money being thrown at it, but there's a lot of sitting around going, which is the right decision to make, with the 3 of Wands and the 7 of Cups. In the meantime, we have people doing this, going, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? Hang in there. True compassion. True compassion. All right, that was long COVID. Let's take a quick look at the what is the effect of John Fetterman going into being treated for depression so publicly. what effect is that going to have on our understanding of mental health? And more importantly, I think our compassion for mental health as a nation. How does John Fetterman, being so courageous, publicly go be treated, be looked at for depression, how is that going to help in our compassion for mental health crisis? Two of Cups. Love that card for this. This is, it almost looks like a medical card, but it's a sharing of emotions. It's a sharing of compassion. It's being covered by the Four of Swords. This is, an illness card, but it's also, in this deck, it's a reflective card. It's rising above the problem to meditate and get quiet with it. And it goes back to the galactic heritage cards. I hope I still have them here. I think it's this complete surrender, spiritual commitment, but it's this surrender. And that's kind of what this guy is doing here. Eight of Wands, news coming fast. That's what is at the base. In the past is the Ace of Cups, new emotional start. At the top of the reading, how is this going to help? People who think Joe Biden is too old, that dude is busy. He's going, come on, man, let's go. And the King of Wands in the immediate near future. So we got a coming together with the Two of Cups for this illness, mental illness, as we label it, right? And I don't even know if that's the right term. I hesitate even saying it that way, but we have a compassion of coming together for this mental illness. We have things coming really, really fast because we need this new emotional start. We need something new coming, and the King is going to bring it. And he's also coming with another king to help things out a little bit. So in 2 years, we're going to be having a different awareness, a different take, a different mindset on what this mental illness is. And I probably won't be calling it mental illness. It'll be a different term that makes more sense. All right. There it is. That's all I wanted to say. 24 minutes. I hope this wasn't depressing. Thank you guys for watching. Peace and love.